Hey everybody, welcome back to Stutz Outdoors. Today we're going to be mixing it up. We're going to be mixing up spots, mixing up techniques. And we start off with the rattle trap here, using the Cast King reel again. And hook up with a pretty good fish here on the rattle trap. Using a rattle trap in sunrise perch color. And hook up with this bass. It's over 2 pounds. Not a bad fish at all. Hit here pretty close to the bank. Continue fishing the rattle trap and hook up with another fish here. This is just a small one as we skate it in across the top of the lake and get it in here. Get it unhooked. Just a little bass. Continue on with the rattle trap. Hook up with our third fish of the day here. Again, not a real big one. So it would seem that the bass are getting up along the bank. Males are starting to build beds. So I switched to the swim bait here. And actually, I lost this fish to cast before. Right here in front of me. Cast it back out, and boom, hooked up with it. I think this fish was actually on a bed here in front of me. And that's a pretty good one. Good 2.5 pound fish anyway. Maybe 3. Another pretty good fish anyway. Get this fish released back into the lake. And we switch spots and switch techniques. Changed over to a 4-inch tube here in a sunfish color. And hook up with this little guy. Just went along the weed edge, pitching this tube out along the weed edge, and ended up hooking this little fish. But the tube did not produce the way I was hoping it would. So we switch over to a 4-inch worm. Go to another spot here. And hook up with a little fish here. Not what we're looking for. Kind of hoping to see some fish on beds over here, but did not see any beds in this area. So I was just throwing it out on this flat. There's a big flat here in front of me. And then we move over here at the boat ramp and hook up with another little fish on the worm. This is going to be the last fish at this lake before we change spots here. Gotta try and make him look big. Just a little baby. So we go hit up a spillway here. As I came down the rocks, I could see quite a few bass along the rocks down here. As we lose that fish, and there's a few fish here in front of me, and I see this one eat it, take off with it. So I set the hook. Once I can see that he's got the hook in his mouth, and this one's not too big. This is one of the smaller ones I could see. There are bigger ones down here, and we hope to catch them here today. So we keep fishing the worm. As there's several more bass in the area here. There's just a deep hole right here where the water comes out of these concrete walls And these fish tend to congregate here in this hole. And we got one running with it. This one feels better than the last one anyway. Fighting pretty good. Get this fish up to the bank. A lot of these fish down here are real chunky fish. There's a lot of crawdads and be a lot of shad down here when they're running water through, and in the fall when they shut it off. Although the shad tend to die off in the winter. And this is a chunky one. Got him hooked pretty good here in the snout. Get the pliers out to get him loose here. Kind of think some of these might be spotted bass because they got really small mouths compared to their bodies. But I'm not sure there's any spotted bass in this lake, so not 100% sure. Brush up on my fish identification skills as we hook up with another one here. Another pretty good fish here on the worm. You can see how small a mouth this fish has compared to the rest of its body. The jaw doesn't look to go past the eye, which would be a largemouth, so this may be a spot. Got another one on the worm. Another decent bass on the worm here. Let's go. These fish are pretty fired up. Another chunky fish. Let's go. Pretty good belly on that one. The water's not quite as clear as it is a lot of times in this spillway. So we move on down the canal here. Managed to hook up with a pretty good one. I could see quite a number of them along the bank as I walked along the top here. But they're real spooky. So we get this fish in. I'd actually gotten snagged, so I had to come down here and get my hook unsnagged and just started casting while I was down here and managed to hook this fish. Another chunky one. Again, looks like it could be a spotted bass, but I'm not really sure. We switch to another spillway here and switch over to the swim bait. And I wish I could have got the explosion when this fish hit this bait on camera, but I didn't have the camera going. So we hook into a small northern here, And these fish tend to go crazy on you when you get them up to the bank. So we're going to try and be careful here, not get ourselves hooked as we get this fish loose, and away it goes. Just a little northern there. And then we hook up with a better one. I just shut the camera off and started working my bait again, and then this one hit, so I had to turn it right back on. So I didn't get the bite on this one either, but it's a decent northern. Over 2 feet long anyway. Probably 26 to 28 inches. Not gonna take this fish out of the water if I can help it. Its jaw's kind of messed up by somebody else had caught it before, it looks like. Messed his jaw up. This fish is not happy. Came up here 2 or 3 times before we actually get him landed. And get him unhooked. Gotta be careful when you're dealing with these big, strong treble hooks. And these pike with their sharp teeth. This fish does not want to cooperate. I'm trying to help you out here and unhook you. Let's see if we can get this fish unhooked here. There we go. And now that it's unhooked, it just wants to hang out here by the bank and not move. Not a bad northern on the swim bait. I was a little scared to throw the swim bait down here just because there's some pretty good sized pike down here at times. And I knew if they swallowed it, there was a good chance they could snap me off. And this one actually had the line wrapped around its gill, and I was afraid it was going to cut the line on its gill plate. But we managed to get it loose here, as it just hangs out by the bank here. Didn't want anything to do with me when I was trying to unhook it. Now that it's unhooked, it doesn't want to leave. Just hanging out, regaining its strength. Give it a little push here with my pole, and away it goes. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.